It's episode 55 of Rhymer on the Road. That is Ann. I am Scott. We look forward to sharing Wilmington, North Carolina, the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and Colonial, Williamsburg, all right here in episode 55. But obviously we are not in Alley, which means we've made it back to the end of the trip and back into the upstate of South Carolina.
Yeah, we are home, and it feels a little weird not being in Alley, adjusting to be able to take a shower as long as I want to take a shower, and not having to use the foot pedal to flush the toilet.
Yes, I made that mistake one time. I went to go do it in a regular toilet,
and then being around friends and family again, which has really been good for the soul.
Yeah, and you'll see a little bit more of that in episode 56. In the next episode, as we make our way back home. We had a great reunion there. Of course, the videos here lag behind real time just a little bit, but you can stay in touch. Rhymer on the Road on Instagram is a good way to keep up to date, right?
That's right. Yeah, I haven't been posting a whole lot lately because we have been with family. We haven't been out traveling a lot. So I'll try to get better. I've got some ideas for some future posts regarding our trip.
Oh, interesting. And speaking of ideas, recently we started the Rhymer on the Road Facebook page, which we're releasing some reels, some shorts, and some reels to both the YouTube channel and to Rhymer on the Road. So if you don't have time to watch the entire, episode, 25-minute episode, you just want a little snippet of some of the things that we did and recommendations that we give you, you can check that out as well. So go to Rhymer on the Road Facebook and like that. But for now, we need to get all about the North Carolina and Virginia area as we make one last swing before heading south down to home. And here it is, episode 55, Rhymer on the Road. Go! Let's start with Wilmington, North Carolina, which really isn't that far from where we go to the coastline in South Carolina, but neither of us had really spent any time there, and it was just something that you kind of picked out as a place that might be nice to stay a couple of days.
Yeah, well, it was kind of on our way up to the Outer Banks, and I had only briefly been there, but just not doing any exploring. So I've got a good friend, Jennifer Gailey, who loves to go up there, so I thought, you know what? We need to go and explore, and I think it was worth it.
Yeah, we went out to Wrightsville Beach. They got several beaches that are really pretty close to the Wilmington area. We did Wrightsville Beach, went out on a pier. Beautiful beach, beautiful colored water as well.
Yeah. No, it is definitely, I keep saying in all these places that we've been, which ones would I go back to? And of course, now that we are close to home, it is definitely a drive that we can make, for a long weekend. I would go back to Wilmington to explore more and see some of the other beaches.
Another cool thing about the town itself, it's got a nice little downtown area, kind of the old town that's down by the Cape Fear River, and they've got a great little river walk with restaurants and shops and stuff that you could spend a day just walking down the river walk.
Which is what we did, not a day, but we explored the river walk, and it's just beautiful. And then shops, restaurants that you can stop at. Definitely worth it if you're in the area.
of the cool things that we did was the Bodie Island Lighthouse. The main Hatteras Lighthouse was under construction, but the Bodie Island Lighthouse was accessible. You could climb it. You had to take turns climbing the stairs. But man, what great views when you got to the top.
Yeah, and you do have to make reservations. So if you're interested in doing it, look on recreation.gov. And yeah, absolutely worth it. Beautiful views, and then just being inside the old lighthouse and see how it's made. And you got to get up and see the light, which was the original light that came from, I think he said France?
It was France, that's right, yeah.
And so that's pretty spectacular when you realize how long it's been there, and they're keeping it in operational order. Very nice.
Foot of that bridge is our campground, right?
Yeah.
In fact, I think I can see some rigs.
Kind of see the building, the
Yep,
marina.
yep. Across the street from the marina, yeah. Very cool.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It is technically right. So all lighthouses, with the exception of one, is fully automated now. The only one that is not anymore is the Boston Harbor Light, actually in Boston, Mass. They still have an official lightkeeper on the grounds. Yes, ma'am. So a little history about this Fresnel lens is it is a first order, of course. It is 9 feet tall, has 1,008 original prisms. They have not been replaced, and that's why we cannot allow anyone to touch them. And it is still serving a purpose of keeping mariners safe out there in the graveyard. On over 3,000 known shipwrecks, and we still find them even today.
Okay, one of the main reasons I wanted to do the Outer Banks, other than I'd never been to the Outer Banks, which was kind of neat, was the Wright Brothers National Memorial, which I've read some books on the Wright Brothers when they were in Kitty Hawk, developing the first plane. So to be able to walk the grounds and see it, what I envisioned I saw when reading the book was really, really cool. And a great layout. They do a great job of giving you the experience and the history behind it, and also some great markers along the way where they actually flew those planes.
Right. It's got a great visitor center that gave you a lot of information as well. But yes, the outside part, where it has the markers of how far the first flight went, how far the second flight went, the third flight. So it was pretty, very visual for you.
As you can see, this is the third flight. Orville, right, was the passenger here. The fourth flight's way down there. You can see off in the distance that marker. And you can see the number 2 and number 1 here. The first rock is where basically they took off. And you can see the first time they got that far, second time that far. This was the third time, and then way down there is the fourth time. Practice, practice, practice.
The overlook where they have the memorial at the top where you can look back down on the ground is also very cool. And it gives you some visuals of the Outer Banks itself, but you can really imagine where we stood with the wind and how it was blowing and the slope of that hill. You can really see why the Wright brothers chose this area to learn how to make a plane.
Right.
Our next stop was another one of those things that I just thought would be really cool to do. I had never been to it, and I think it had been many years since you've been to it, and that is Old Colonial Williamsburg in Virginia. And man, when they say that this is a time period area where things look and feel like you're back in that 1700 era, they're not kidding. I mean, even the workers were all dressed in attire that fit that time frame.
And this was one of those other places. It just was sort of on our way to our next stop, and I have good memories from when I was there as a child and wanted to see it again as an adult because I love history, and it was definitely worth it. Now, of course, we hit it during the rain.
Of course.
But it was fine. We could make it work. You just hopped in and out of the different locations, and great visitor center. We got some stuff at the shops there.
Myself, a former student of mine, now friend and colleague, Mr. Jefferson. I imagine you know that name by now. And then a mutual friend by the name of Edmund Pendleton, perhaps you're familiar with that name as well, the gentleman who sat as the president of the 5th Virginia Convention and is credited with the authorship of the resolution that was read upon the floor up in Congress, which prompted the vote for independence.
The one that I make tomorrow fit the same as the one that was made yesterday. These just are not interchangeable. They may be perfect within our standards, but they're not interchangeable. So that's really one of the benefits of really working on the compass here. What I would do is I would make the wing here oversized. I would try to make it as close as I can.
But it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Specifically, it's used in generally the rule is if house purchases. So I said at the beginning of the story that this is the most important building in town, this is the most important
because this is specifically where the representatives or purposes are called. You can also take some time out of the Williamsburg area, a very short trip into the Yorktown area where the famous battle that basically sealed independence of the United States from Great Britain. And we drove through that, and they have a little system where you go by these numbers and they tell you a little bit about it.
A couple driving tours.
Yeah, and I must say that you have to really use your imagination, okay?
Yeah.
Because like the visuals aren't reconstructed to look like they did when they were in that time period.
Sure.
They just kind of left everything as
There's
it is.
not a battle going on.
There's not a battle
and
going
it's
on.
just land. It's just spots of things that happened. But yes, you definitely have to use your imagination. They give you some information regarding the battles and what happened there. But still, it was hallowed ground.
Hallowed ground.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's a wrap on episode 55 of Reimer on the Road. Outer Banks of North Carolina, and they get their name in a very appropriate way because it is out there. I mean, I knew it was going to be a long way, but even from Wilmington, North Carolina, it was a haul to get all the way out here.
I think it was like 4.5 hours, 5 hours. Pulling, of course, so we're not going super fast. I had been there before. This was a place you had not been, and you wanted to explore. And it's a great place. Beautiful scenery. I'm glad that they're protecting it for certain, for the Outer Banks National Seashore. I think.
That's right.
Which is where we stayed, and just beautiful. And it's a place I could go back to too. But man, it's a long drive from Greenville, South Carolina.
It is a long drive from just about everywhere, unless you're in the Outer Banks. Let's talk about the campground on the Outer Banks real quick. Really cool place. Didn't have full hookups, but man, it was right there. Great location and pretty spacious sites, especially the one we were at.
Yeah, so it's Oregon Inlet Campground, which is part of the National Park System. And it was, it was, just water and electric. And not even all of the sites are water and electric. It was right on the beach. You got to just be with nature, and it was totally worth it. I think we paid $140 for 4 nights. 4 nights total, $140. And I think I did. I looked at some of the local campgrounds that were a little bit further down, like the KOA, and there was another one, and I think they were around $140 a night.
Yeah.
So it definitely saved us some money. It was worth it using our little honey pot a couple times. I think you might have even used it once.
Just once, yeah.
For our 4-day stay. So I would for sure go back there and try to get in there. I think it's a harder one to get into. We booked it right as the booking window was opening up. And if we go back, I would for sure try to stay there again.
Okay, that's a wrap on episode 55 of Reimer on the Road as we are home and kind of transitioning back to that and going through those trials and tribulations, but it's exciting to be back. But there's so much more that we still have to show you in our next episode. New River Gorge in West Virginia, that's a pretty epic stop. And then we had a massive reunion as we made our way back down into South Carolina with a bunch of family and friends, and it's just been a pretty cool ending to the trip. So all that's coming up in episode 56, so stay tuned to that. Go to Reimer on the Road on Instagram, Reimer on the Road on Facebook. We'll figure it out, and we're going to continue to travel and do some things, and as Ann says, she's got some surprises coming up on Instagram, so check all of that out. For Ann, I am Scott. Leo sleeping to our left. It's Reimer on the Road. Episode 55 is a wrap, and don't forget, everybody, do it today.
Yeah.
That's the first thing we've seen out here. We never saw